Çemberli is going to present her paper titled A Quest for Truth in the Digital World. Yağmur, are you here? I
am here. Yes, hello, thank you. So I'm going to share my screen as well, and I hope I won't exceed time too much. Hi everyone, I am Yağmur ÇENBERLİ from Üniversitesi. I am research assistant and PhD student at the communication faculty in the same university as well. So today I'm going to talk about the search for truth in the digital world and criticize the concept of post-truth from a philosophical perspective. I think you can see my screen, hopefully. Yeah. So Plato said that the opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance, and that is quite a fact since the maybe beginning of the time, since we live in a mediated world. There was the idea in the Enlightenment defended as that humanity can reach the truth with no interruption and mediation unless it manages to leave the clock of opinions. It was quite the opposite of what Plato said in the ancient Greece. So soon after, it was recognized that kind of objective truth is nowhere to be found. So the philosopher that we know today, they start searching for the universal truth through subjectivity that is not completely detached from the object, which in this digital age seems like giving a chance for the emergence of post-truth. So here, before dealing with the philosophical quest for truth, I'd like to discuss the term of post-truth a little bit. So the prefix post in front of truth refers to the idea that truth has been displaced by fictitious facts in the shape of reality in order to influence the public opinion. That was according to Bufacchi, and Bufacchi also claims that it is often claimed that post-truth has also surpassed lies and nonsense for the purpose of delegitimizing truth, since this is the best way to disarm the threat truth poses to them. So I strongly disagree personally. Playing around with facts and turning them into pragmatic advantages have been the public relations strategies for corporations and governments, especially since the end of World War I. The technological developments and the acceleration in the ability to lie and manipulate does not change the fact that lie is a lie. Twisting the fact and distorting the public opinion in the digital era does not something produce beyond the truth, to be honest. So Arendt, in her article in 1967 published in the New Yorker under the title of Truth and Politics, also makes the distinction of lying in the pre-modern world and lying in the modern world. The pre-modern traditional lie, according to Arendt, had two distinguishing qualities. First, it was never meant to deceive literally everybody. It was directed at the enemy and was meant to deceive only him, the enemy. Secondly, the traditional lie concerned only particulars and a falsehood that makes no attempt to change the whole context. It was a hole in the fabric of factuality. But the modern lie, in contrast, allowed no less refuge for the truth, since the liar deceived himself or herself as well. Moreover, the modern lie was no longer a tear in the fabric of reality. Modern political lies are so big that they require a complete rearrangement of the whole factual texture, Arendt wrote. And she continues as the making of another reality, as it were, into which they will fit without seam, crack, or fissure. So this quite seems like the description of post-truth, right? So, and Arendt did not need any other term to explain the lying or manipulation in opposition to the truth. The most recent conspicuous example of Arendt's analysis on truth and politics is the Capitol Hill attack on January 6, 2021. There was the day of the living and breathing proof of that, how long-term propaganda, manipulation and lying can build up to an actual event that mobilizes hundreds in order to construct an order for the private means of certain individuals. In an article in Washington Post, Rubin stated that the attack was not the result of polarization in the American society, but of the systematic radicalization of the right and the mentality behind uses deception and fear as political organizing tools. Another argument is on the information and media environment in the United States of America. The digitalization of mass media blurs the boundaries between mainstream and extreme, but it is not something new, according to an article again written by Elling right after the attack. The profit-making drive of the right-wing media in the increase of radicalized content in order to preserve the numbers of their audience and the inaction of social media giants with the same profit-making motivation only flared up the fire. This was not because of the post-truth, it was because of outright lying, manipulation, and propaganda that has found response in populism. That's why what matters is to put the truth in the center and to return to philosophy in order to find ways to establish the principles of ethics, I claim. So in this presentation, with the approaches of Kant, Hegel, and Levinas, we will seek the ways to reach the truth in the digital world on a more philosophical understanding. With Kant, the quest for truth found its ground. With Hegel, it earned a dialectical system of unity. And with Levinas, it completed the bonds that place it on a social communicative level. However, that opinion being the medium seems like unresolved in the minds of the societies in the 21st century. It is mostly treated as opinion medium is the loophole in the philosophical system of ethics, and I think it's not. And mostly this perspective is called for legitimizing the notion of post-truth. At the very beginning of phenomenology of spirit, Hegel asserts that we live in a mediated world. From his three basic states of conditions, Hegel establishes not only the construction of spirit, but also establishes what the truth is and how we reach it. Regarding the dialectical relationship between the subject and object, in Hegel's thought, object awaits for the subject's recognition. In front of universal self-identical object, subject with its inseparable essence consciousness alters the truth by interpreting the object, which can result in misunderstanding of the object and subject deceiving itself. However, this notion should not mislead us. Heidegger's distinction of propositional truth and material truth that refers to the attribution to something on the basis of the accordance of the thing with its essence clears the path for what might be elusive so far. In this sense, Hegel seeks for material truth that opens the way to universality rather than propositional truth that relies on a misperception of consciousness. Thus, Hegel salvages the subject from being trapped in its own limits of perception and opens a path to universality and to the truth. Also, at the same time, Hegel draws attention to the second aspect of mediation. In this mediated world, the subject perceives the object in regards to existing each for itself in the universal medium. And in this determined dialectical relationship, one exists within and also in the opposition of the other. So this is how we comprehend the truth. And this is also where we draw close to Levinas' understanding of truth, that he also offers a similar path for reaching it. For him, as a phenomenological concept, the truth is a modality of the relation between the same and the other. Where Levinas parts ways with Hegel, maybe is the moment when he separates the I from the world in order to leave space for the truth, as he himself expresses. Without separation, there would not have been the truth, there would have been only being. By revealing the discourse layer of Hegelian recognition, Levinas emphasizes the respect for each other that is achieved by means of the content of the speech act, which refers to the discursive layer that we mentioned earlier. Introducing the concept of respect, Levinas expands the horizon of truth from the relation between the subject and the object to also the world created by two parties addressing to each other. This line of thinking of truth aligns with Kant's categorical imperative concept as well. Treating humans as an end but not a mean for an end is the act of respect that Levinas highlights. For Kant, the universal laws of reason and the knowledge that emerges out of them determines the truth. And he strikes the final blow as the following: in general, that is true, which holds good of everyone. What has only private validity is only appearance. Kant's emphasis on universality is quite clear in this statement. Later, Hegel and years after him, Levinas, Even though he seems to be in the opposition of Hegel, they altogether establish the principles of the objective truth that relies on subjectivity. For this reason, it is of importance to discuss Hegel's distinction of ethical life and morality. In ethical life, the emphasis is not on the individual's subjective judgments or decision, it is on the rightful fulfillments of the necessities in the society we are a member of. Levinas's idea of sincerity that emerges from the face of the other corresponds to Hegel's ethical life. For Levinas, the search for truth cannot be accomplished without the face of other, whose epiphany dignifies the subject I. On this account, speech act is quite substantial in Levinas's ethics theory that carries many aspects from the Hegelian philosophy. Furthermore, that also in many ways refers to Kantian understanding of duty. In every step of his theory of ethics, Kant underlies the essentiality of speaking the truth in the society. This might sound very harsh. The duty to speak the truth is unconditional in Kant's words, and it might be undoable in certain circumstances. But this is the attitude I believe that democratic societies and also mass media have to internalize as the core principle. In the light of the philosophy of ethics based on Kant, Hegel, and Levinas, the obligation of clearing the space for truth is inevitable. First and foremost, we need to establish the principle that the values of the truth and the truth itself cannot be interrogated. However, the concept of post-truth, in my opinion, turns truth into a concept that is questionable, negotiable, and debatable. If the ontology of truth is questioned, then there is no battleground left for ethics. Truth cannot be negotiated, and if we do not accept the fact that there is nothing that surpasses or is beyond the truth, then the discourse of post-truth only legitimizes the deformity in not only the mass media, but also in the society. The Capitol Hill attack did not happen because of the post-truth. It happened because the humanity abused the medium between knowledge and ignorance. And it happened because the truth is open to question. Thank you for listening.